Hello and welcome to the Away Day Experience Show. My name's Sam Davis.
My name's Tom Jordan.
And a Happy New Year to you, Tom. I haven't seen you in the last few days. How's things going?
Yeah, all right, mate. Happy New Year to you and everyone as well. Been weird, hasn't it, with all this COVID stuff. I mean, I thought we left that back in 2019, but it's still here, mate. Things have been a bit weird, but I'm all right, and Bournemouth doing all right, so that's the main thing.
Yeah, that's right. We haven't played yet this year, but the FA Cup's just around the corner. But this is all about the EFL, and specifically, it's the Away Day Experience Show, as you can see on your screen. And it's the show where we talk about the game that AFC Bournemouth last played away from Dean Court. And Tom, which club are we featuring this week?
It will be...
QPR, mate, and what a win that was as well, eh?
Oh, yeah. I mean, obviously, we're going to try and leave the result at the door for this, but just to start, it was a much needed away win, and a win that probably on our form we didn't expect either. So yeah, had a good performance to go with it. So it was a really good one on the pitch, wasn't it? Now,
Tom, there's some people that are watching this video who are yet to subscribe. Do you know what they're thinking?
Why? It's just getting mad now, isn't it? I mean, it's a click. You can do it now. Wait. They've done it. Yeah, just give it a little subscribe, and then you can see what's going on, and give it a like, because that helps us, and it doesn't take you 2 seconds. And hit the bell as well, and you'll know when we're on there. You don't even have to check or anything. It's brilliant, isn't it?
It is brilliant. And look, if you are a subscriber, you'll know that we've been doing this all season. And on screen at the moment, you can see the current tier list. This is where we are placing the teams that we've been to so far. We may rejudge these or recalibrate at some point during the season, just to maybe reassess a few things. But where will QPR land in this? We've got Fulham, which is another London club that's currently in so-so. But will QPR perform better? Well, in order to do so, we've got a number of categories which we rate them on that you can see at the bottom of your screen. We've got pre-match experience. What's it like travelling to the stadium? Pubs beforehand? Parking, is it any good? Transport, all good? The stadium itself, is it any good? Is it new? Is it old? Is it easy to get around? And then once you're in, the concourse and facilities. I'm sure we'll have a bit to say about that. Also, food and drink as well. What's the food like? Can you get a decent pie? Is the beer selection any good? Can you have a decent fizzy pop? The view as well. This will be an interesting one, because I think depending on where you're sat, it may be varied, and also the home fan decibel level as well. And look, as Tom said earlier, we're trying to leave our bias at the door, okay? So we're not going to talk about the result. It's all going to be about the stadium itself. So firstly, Tom, pre-match experience. It was one that was on the 27th. We probably could have got a train up, but I think there was all sorts of Christmas service issues and stuff, and bus replacements and stuff. So we thought, oh, come on, let's just drive it.
Yeah, sometimes it's easy to just not even get into that, isn't it, around Christmas time if you're in London for us. So yeah, we just drove up. Then we managed to get on a driveway. I don't know what the kind of app is, but we managed to park on a driveway, didn't we? And going from there, what was we got a tube to Shepherd's Bush, was that right?
Yeah, that's right. We parked at Ealing Broadway, and I think it was Just Park or Your Parking Space or whatever. But it's only a couple of minutes to the tube station, and from Ealing Broadway, it was only a few stops, and we were right there, weren't we?
Yeah, it was really easy actually, especially as far as London goes, because sometimes it can be a bit of a pain. But doing it that way, which we did, was really easy, really handy. Like I say, tube and everything was easy, and it was really close by. Weather held up not too bad, so yeah, it was quite easy to get to and to get across to the away pub.
Yeah, and there were a few different options that we could have gone to, including Wetherspoons that was on the football ground guide, but by the sounds of it, a lot of fans were actually getting turned away because they didn't have a home ticket. So as for that being the dedicated away pub, not so sure. And also another place that was recommended to us as well. But we went to the place that was nearest the station, just opposite as you come out of the tube, and it was called Belushi's. And it wasn't the biggest place, but certainly in terms of atmosphere, mate, it was actually pretty good, wasn't it?
Yeah, I really liked it actually. I think, like I say, as soon as we got off, you could see the pub we were going to, which is ideal. Don't have to think about which way you're going. And yeah, we managed to get in there probably just before the rush, didn't we? So we managed to get kind of the last table available. Brother and I fancied something to eat as well, so we had a little pizza there, and that we got there, like I say, just in time, so that was handy. And yeah, I quite like the fact that you had to show that you were going to the game as a Bournemouth fan before you went in with a security on the door, which meant all right, I know who's going to be in here. I know it's going to be a good atmosphere. And it was. There was a few sing-songs of that. Like you say, it wasn't most spacious in the world. There was a bit of a kind of smoking area out the front where you could kind of stand out the front as well. And yeah, I really enjoyed it, mate. I quite like them when they're like that. It's, yeah, you know all the faces in there. You can have a bit of a sing-song, as I say. And yeah, just get a good feel to it. You know, it's all Bournemouth in there. So I really enjoyed it. Nice little pub.
Yeah, it was. And it was only, 25-minute walk from there. I mean, you could hop back on the tube if you wanted to White City, but there's no point really. By the time you're in the tube system, I think it's probably about the same time. So from there, it was a straight walk down the high street as far as Loftus Road. And, you know, pre-match experience, I thought it was pretty good. The other pub, the Syndicum Social, was one that I spoke to beforehand, and they said it's all good for away fans. And there are some good comments from there as well. This one was a bit of a younger vibe, so why I was in there, no idea. But very contemporary vibe. You know, a good selection of beers, actually, I've got to say. And then pretty straightforward walk to Loftus Road. So pre-match experience, mate. I was quite content, I've got to say.
Yeah, as you say as well, it can be, especially in London, people can have kind of very different ones depending on how you're travelling and what kind of pub you go into. But from our perspective, it was all bang on, really. And I like the fact that you think, I can have a short little walk, or I can jump on the tube if needs be. It gives you a few options. So yeah, really enjoyed it, mate. It's going to fare well, this one, I think.
Rate it out of 10 then, Tom. Go on.
I've got to go for an 8. 8 for this one. I'm really happy.
8 for the pre-match experience then. And next we'll go on to the stadium itself. And Loftus Road's a tight little ground. I've been there a couple of times before, and there's always that sort of conflict in my head, like, oh, you know, it's so nice visiting the smaller grounds that are a bit quirky, but then you do get barely any space. We'll talk about the concourse later in the show, but in terms of Loftus Road itself, mate, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I always kind of look at it in terms of the Championship as kind of that middle diddle kind of. It's not one of the best, but it's definitely not one of the worst. I don't mind it, but I'm also not buzzing to be in there. I've been there a few times now. I don't know if that was my third or fourth. First time I saw it, that's win, which was nice. But yeah, it's a nice stadium. We're certainly not a club that can be too snobby about stadiums at this level. But yeah, quite like it, but it's not top tier, is it? But yeah, it's a nice little stadium, Loftus Road. There's a bit of character about it still, for sure.
Absolutely. And of course, because they've got capacity over 10, well, of course, we've got capacity over 10, but we are purposefully maintaining under 10,000 so that we don't have to do the COVID checks. But given their attendance is somewhat over that, then there were COVID checks, although I don't know about you, it was a bit random. I got my my passport checked, but then a number of others that I've chatted to just didn't have to and went straight in.
Yeah, I didn't have to, but I don't know if that was whether I had it up on my phone ready and whether they were just kind of like, I can clearly see he's got it, just kind of hurry it up. I'm not sure. Yeah, I've heard a few that did and a few that didn't, but it was pretty easy getting in and things like that. So yeah, it was happy, mate. Like I say, it's a decent stadium. I think decent's probably the fair word for that.
So in terms of your score out of 10, what are you going to go?
I'm going to go just above average. I'll give it a 6.
6. Nice. Tom's going for 6 for that then. Now, the view, it must be said that when we were buying tickets via the AFCB.co.uk website, there were various options like gold, bronze, silver, or whatever. And you sort of look at it, and even up the top tier where we were, the upper tier, there were various pillars, so you wouldn't have wanted to be placed in a certain position. But also, if you're on the lower tier as well, you don't want to be too far at the back. Sometimes the roof can interfere, and also you don't want to be stuck behind a pillar as well. So it all depends how much you paid. We paid top whack at £33. That's podcast cash. But yeah, and you know what? The view was pretty good. I've got to say. What were your thoughts on it?
Yeah, I think it is one that, again, is going to be very varied on your own individual kind of setup. And if you pay that bit extra to get the gold, lower tier, upper tier. So this one's got to be quite varied. From our perspective, I was well happy. I thought I would definitely recommend paying the extra few quid. We were in the upper and we had a nice view, didn't we? Can't remember exactly what row we were, but it did feel like we were quite near the back. But yeah, it was a really nice view. You'd be on a goal and it was good, so I was happy. But I'm sure there are people that went and had a very differing experience in that. But yeah, I can't complain, mate. I do like the view where we were sat. It was perfect, really.
what are your thoughts on trying to get an atmosphere going and trying to get songs going when you've basically got half the crowd split between two different levels? Is that always a bit of a problem?
Yeah, it is difficult. It is difficult because you feel like you've got so many away fans there.
Yeah.
We took nearly 3,000, which was very good. But as you say, it does make it hard when there's two tiers. But you wouldn't have got that many people in otherwise. So yeah, pros and cons to it. Hard to get atmosphere. I thought we'd done quite well, and the lads on the pitch helped us have a decent atmosphere actually. So yeah, better than some we've had, and not quite as good as others as well. So pretty middle of the road, I'd say.
Yeah, and the way that it's very close to the pitch is a good thing. But also, what that also means is if the ball's like in the corner flag, you're having to stand on your tippy toes in order to see what the hell's going on in the bottom right-hand corner or whatever. So, I think that's a point to maybe, down market somewhat. But other than that, I think it's been pretty good. Out of 10?
Yeah, it is a difficult one. Yeah, it's hard to judge because I think there's so many variations on it. But I'm trying to go on mine because that's all I can go on, and I was relatively happy. So 6 or 7. Let's go 7 because of my view, and it will probably tempt people to get that go for the gold if you get a chance.
Yeah, there you go. We are the QPR salespeople in disguise here. Yeah, why not? Right, okay. Concourse and facilities, mate. Oh my God, where do I begin? Okay, well, I'm going to firstly say that I've never met so many Cherries fans that didn't have COVID and then after QPR did have COVID. I'm not saying it's anything to do with that concourse, but bloody hell, it was packed tightly. I wasn't sure whether maybe the fans were sharing one concourse, the upper and lower, but there were separate concourses. So, I mean, apparently it was just as bad down below as well, but it was really tight and narrow. It reminded me of sort of Watford because they've got a very small concourse, which isn't very wide, but my God, it was packed tight, eh?
Just a bit, and people that watch this or know me know that I go down on 38 minutes to get my refreshments just before half time before the Malik. So on one hand, it meant I missed the only goal of the game as per. But I managed to have a brief spell where it was all right. But God, that's one of the ones I'm really pleased that I do go down early because it's like you say, by the time I got served, it was then absolute chaos down there. And yeah, fortunately, I'm not one of them, but a lot of people seem to have had COVID since then. Like I say, whether that's a coincidence or not, it felt a bit of a COVID concourse just because of how tight it was. It was absolute chaos. I mean, no way could you socially distance or anything. It was so rammed down there, and yeah, it is hard to judge because, as I mentioned previously, we did take a lot. And maybe if you don't take as many, it feels a bit more spacious, and maybe that goes against them. But it felt really tight and so narrow, and I've seen a few videos because of the timing we scored of people are celebrating down there, and it is like it's just madness. You can't see any gaps at all. Yeah, really crowded, really stuffy. Not one of my favourite concourses, that's for sure.
We've had a few comments as well. One fan wrote in, one teen stroke 20-year-old, so-called a Cherries fan, punched a strip light in jubilation, but it was by accident and then it fell down. There was a separate concourse, but it was absolutely rammed. This person says at pre-match, half-time and filing out. Some Cherries fans were smoking in the concourse as they couldn't wait to get out to the smoking bit. They said it's the worst away day stadium I've been to by far. And look, if we had if it was on a Tuesday night, we'd have probably taken half that and it would probably been a little bit more palatable, wouldn't it? But as it was, it just felt so packed. And yeah, like I say, with the amount of people that I've known, and we're not exaggerating, that have had COVID, some of our friends, some of our family, it's no coincidence, is it? Because it was so packed.
And our team have had a game postponed since then. So yeah, it's a bit of an odd one. And you just mentioned there that people saying they couldn't wait to get out of the smoking bit. Well, I didn't even know there was. I didn't even know you could go out. I mean, I normally, regardless of smoking or not, I always go outside just to get a bit of room in most concourses at half time. Stand out there and having a pint, and I didn't know you could go out. Because you couldn't, I certainly couldn't see that you could go out. There was just get a little area in the corner and just stand there for as much as you can bear, really. So yeah, it was disappointing in terms of the concourse. We did take a lot, but so stuffy and yeah, not enjoyable. And I was happy to get back up to my seat.
All right, then, out of 10, what are you going to go for?
3.
Oh, 3, but I think that's about right. 3
Well,
for the concourse. All right, at this point then, we are going to use the footage from Rob Trent from Access Advisor, who tells us all about his experience. He's in a power chair, and if you actually check out his full video, the card's at the top of the screen, and there's a link to his YouTube channel as well in the description. He says that there was an abundance of helpful stewards there. The COVID checks were random, like we said. He did have some food. He said the chicken balti pie and the coffee was good. He said that there was an impressive accessible toilet with plenty of room, which was really, really good. Step-free, fairly level access throughout. He said where he was at the very bottom, the roof of the stand hardly offered much rain protection, but as there wasn't much rain, it wasn't too bad. Just a few sprinklings of precipitation there. He said, though, which was a major down point for him, is that, whilst the view originally looked good, then 3 photographers proceeded to sit right in front of him, which meant that he could barely even see what was going on. And then, even though he mentioned to stewards that when he turned to the left, he could see fans standing in the way of the goal, the stewards didn't do anything about it. They didn't get out of the way. Therefore, he had an obscured view of seeing any goal mouth action. So, it's good that the staff are very friendly, etc., and hospitable. However, not so good in terms of his view there. So make sure you check out his channel. Like I said, he did say that food and drink were any good. You had a pint at half time, mate. Any good?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was just Carlsberg. I think I had. But yeah, it was fine. And so I did manage to squeeze into a corner and drink it all, which was the main thing. And yeah,
how did you find the room? Like, how did you?
Yeah, I think there was one of them little kind of like shelving bits on the side, so I could kind of stand over there and just kind of prop it up. But yeah, it was, to be fair, the staff and everything like that was all fine. They managed to get over quickly and got me and my brother a pint in, so that was fine. But like I said, I did go down a bit earlier, and by the time I turned around, the queue had certainly increased somewhat.
Brilliant. All right then. And I've heard that people who've had hot drinks said it was all good, etc. Food and drink then out of 10, I think it's pretty much bog standard, isn't it?
Yeah, got to just let's go for a 6. It seemed fine, but I didn't eat myself.
Excellent stuff. Right, okay, home fan loudness. This is one of the ones that I find very difficult to judge. I think depending on where you were stood inside the stadium in the away end, whether you're at the upper or lower, your experience of what you heard from the home fans might have differed, because apparently they were giving a load of flack to Dom Solanke. I didn't really hear much of it. The only Chelsea reject chants that I heard were from our fans, obviously sarcastically chanting that after Dom Solanke opened the scoring. But I didn't really hear much from them. Did you?
No, and yeah, as you mentioned there, it is a really difficult one, this kind of section, because I think, as you mentioned, we might go over a bit, kind of games earlier in the season, because you had nothing to compare. And I think at the start of the season, we were quite critical on a lot of the home fan decibel levels. And now looking at it, you're thinking, actually, there's quite a lot of pretty poor, and it means we almost overplay it when they're really good. But yeah, they were poor. I thought it is difficult. You got to remember, we did beat them 1-0, and they weren't very good. QPR were poor on the pitch, especially, we've played them at home this season, and they were very good, I thought, and we were fortunate to win that one. But this one was comfortable, and they didn't have a lot to cheer about. Our goalkeeper didn't have a lot to do, which always plays a part. But yeah, I was disappointed, because I do enjoy it when the home fans are good as well, and you can have a bit of banter going. But yeah, I wasn't impressed. My brother, who come to the games, he lives in London, so the only other game he's been to this season was Millwall. Yeah. And we didn't think they were particularly great, and he said they were a lot better than QPR. Yeah. So that was something I gauged, really, because I thought we've only been to 2, so how do they compare? And he wasn't impressed either, and I wasn't. As you said, I can't remember them really doing a chant. There's no chant I really remember trying to G their team on or anything like that. So yeah, they were disappointing. It is always hard to judge, because there's nearly 3,000 of us all compact singing, so it's hard to hear everything. But from the upper tier, I didn't hear a lot from them, mate, and they were definitely one of the poorer ones we've had this season.
Oh, sounds scathing. Out of 10, then what are you going to go for?
Try and be polite and give them a 3, because we might not have heard something. So yeah, I'll go 3.
Oh, love it. Right, we're going to move on to our rating, but before that, one of the things I forgot, right? The weirdest executive VIP box I've ever seen. So when you look into the right hand side, mate, this glass box, like, and you could see all their legs and stuff. I thought they might have a little kind of wall or something, or some kind of cover, so you couldn't see the way they were sat in their footwear and stuff. But I don't know, I half expect to see David Blaine walking in there and not having any oxygen or something, because it was the weirdest thing. And apparently there was a lot of to and fro with some supporters down just beneath them as well.
Yeah, it was really bizarre. I've never seen anything like that, so I don't know if that's a new thing or what. But if it's COVID related, I haven't got a clue. But it was very bizarre, and I definitely can't remember ever noticing that before in Loftus Road. So yeah, that was odd. I know exactly what you're talking about, and that was very strange. They must feel like they're getting looked at all the time.
Yeah, well, they were all in a line, and you could all see them sat there. There was nothing else in the room whatsoever, just apart from a row of chairs. It was like death row or something. It was really bizarre. I saw that there was a photo going around on social media, and one fan in particular, there was a lot of chanting between the Bournemouth fans and him, sort of, maybe goading them a little bit as well. So yeah, really weird. That's a point of note anyway. But in terms of the rating, mate, we've obviously got our tier list already, and for anyone that hasn't or didn't see it at the start of the show, this is what it looks like. So, mate, whereabouts is QPR going to sit?
Tough, actually. I do want to give a shout out to another fan actually on the left hand side. I don't know if you remember. There's one fan that had Moroccan flag, and he had a big hat on, and he was giving it loads. I think it was probably linked to, is it Ilias Chair? I think his name is. Sorry if I pronounced that wrong.
Yeah.
I think he's Moroccan, isn't he? So
yeah,
I think he was kind of like a fanboy for him, but he was trying to give it a bit on his own. So shout out to him. Yeah, rating's tough because I think, as you've seen, it's kind of been really up and down. I'd say kind of view for us personally, good. I really enjoyed pre-match and the pub, really good. But then home fan loudness, concourse, then really bad. So because it's so split, I think it's only fair to whack them straight in the middle into so-so with Fulham from London as well. So I'm going to put them in so-so, mate.
Yeah, excellent. And of course, Millwall, I forgot, of course, the other London club, they're there as well. So London, all middle diddle there, along with Hull City. There we go. If you're a QPR fan and you're watching this, you're probably thinking, what, really? Loftus Road, only middle diddle? That's what we think, and that's just our honest experience. Look, I suppose that the kickoff time, did it help us? Well, it was Christmas. A lot of us had worked off our Christmas excesses. Some were carrying it onto the 27th. Maybe it'd have been different another time of year. Not so sure, but obviously we can only rate it with the conditions that we had. So that was a sort of late evening kickoff on a Saturday night or whatever it was. No, not a Saturday night. The Monday night. It was the 27th. Monday. So yeah, that's what we've gone for. But look, have we been unfair? Have we been too generous? Let us know in the comments and tell us where we've gone wrong, and maybe what away pubs do you recommend that we should have gone to? Because we went to Belushi's. Should have we gone anywhere else? Tom, there's a few decent away days ahead of us, not least tomorrow in the FA Cup. This is one that won't be ranked, but are you looking forward to a bit of an old school stadium visit?
I am, mate. I really am. Weirdly, third round, I was looking at it and thinking, I'd love something like the Oval away. I was thinking, just because it's so close to us, isn't it? And I've had some great memories there up and down the years in the lower leagues and even in the Championship, actually, more recently. But it's a nice little away pub, nice little ground as long as it's not raining. But yeah, I think we've been very fortunate, haven't we, lately? Yeah, we've been going all these big grounds and we've been spoiled. So it's nice to go back to what we remember, what Bournemouth's really about. So I'm looking forward to that. If it all goes well, looking forward to that one. And yeah, it's interesting just looking at the tier list there, because all the London ones in the middle tier, and I think I enjoy QPR more than I did Millwall and Fulham. But I'm in my head, I'm going, that's because we won, and we've got to leave that away, because I think in my head I want to put it a little bit higher because I enjoyed it more, but it's only because we won. So but yeah, we haven't lost it in London yet, so that's all right. We've got what we got coming up in the league. Luton's coming up. Luton,
and that's old school. They're obviously got their new ground being built at the moment, so it's going to be one of the last trips to Kenilworth Road for a while, especially if we get promoted. That'll be an interesting one.
Yeah, that's what I'm really looking forward to. And then we've got Barnsley, which I'm because of the travel and where it is, that's maybe not so much. So we've got two real different ones in the league coming up. So yeah, going to be really interesting how they fare. And like you say, before that, really looking forward to Yeovil, mate. and hopefully no more postponements, and we can crack on enjoying some away days.
Love it. Tom, it's been a pleasure, mate. Love it.
Always, mate.
Always. And make sure you subscribe as per usual. We'll see you in the next one. Love the Chaz.